Hi, and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. Today is Friday, June 4th, and you are joining me for episode 15. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I am cbcraftygirl on Instagram and Ravelry, and we do have a Ravelry group under Carla Knits for this podcast. Currently in our Ravelry group, I am hosting a Spring Stripes make-along. It started May 1st and runs through June 20th. So anything you cast on or crochet starting May 1st or afterwards, anything with stripes. So you can knit, crochet, weave, sew, anything you make with stripes can be entered into that make-along. And there are a few finished objects already, which are just beautiful. So if you'd like to go see what people are making for the stripes mal, that would be great. And we'd love to have you join us. Chances are good for winning, and I'll be sharing some prizes for that make along a little bit later in this episode. All right, let's hop into finished objects. I do have a finished object this week. I did not intend to have a finished object, but I'm very happy that I do. This is the Flicker and Flame hat by Andrea Mowry. I haven't blocked it yet, so it may look a little lumpy. But Andrea Mowry is the designer of this hat, and she hosted a make-along, a 4-day make-along over Memorial Day weekend for this hat, and there were a lot of participants in that knit-along. So this is a color work hat. I did the sport weight version. There is a worsted and sport weight version in a number of sizes. The yarn I used, hopefully you can see, this is a deep purple, and this was by Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And I misspoke last week. I said the name of the yarn or the colorway was Recollect, but that was actually the base of yarn. But the colorway is Hey Victor sport weight yarn. And then the color work, the beautiful shades of pink in there, that is a Spincycle yarn, also sport weight. And that color is Wallflower. This hat was a lot of fun to knit up. I enjoyed doing that color work. I have done, a few I've got a hair stuck in there. I have done a few color work sweaters before, but this was just a quick little fun project to work up. So I really enjoyed it. I will say the two yarns together, I think they do look really good. I think it turned out well. But the Spincycle sport weight was considerably thinner than the Farmer's Daughter Fiber sport weight. And in fact, I would even say at times the Spincycle in certain places bordered on a lace weight. And for the majority, I would have called it a fingering weight yarn. And just in a few spots, it was plump enough to call it sport weight. And so I was kind of texting back and forth with my friend Lois, who is also knitting up this hat, and I was saying, I don't know if this is gonna work. And I was showing her the two yarns side by side, and she could see the difference, and she's like, I wonder if the color work's gonna show well. And I kind of wondered the same thing, but I kept going. So I think it did work out okay. But that certainly was a concern, that the weights of yarn were pretty inconsistent. So, but I am happy with the final result. I loved working this pattern. I would absolutely make it again. I do have a significant bit left of the Spincycle, so I could definitely put that in another project. And I have this left of the main color. Sorry, it's a little strings on there. So I could probably, I don't know if I would have enough of this for a main color, but this I could absolutely use in another project. I could possibly get the smallest version of the hat out of these two. I don't know. We will see. But that is the Flicker and Flame hat by Andrea Mowry. So that is my finished object. I have a half finished object, which is a sock. And this is the Belladonna Sock by Gazal Mohammed. Gazal gifted this pattern to me. Thank you again so much. The yarn I used is Mustache Yarns in the Hogwarts colorway for the main color. And then this contrasting toe, I love this purple. This is by Camelot Dyeworks. I thought I wrote this down. Oh yes, in the Full Moon colorway. So I thought that contrasting toe was such a fun color because it picks up on the blips of violet in the sock. The beautiful texture in there, hopefully you can see that. So I am excited to have this one done. I have not started the second one yet, but that is my half finished object. And that is actually the only sock I have to show today, which is kind of strange for me. I did not get any work into my striped sock, that heel toe do-si-do sock, starting that this past week. But I do hope to at least get both of those socks started for this coming week. Let's go ahead with WIPs, or works in progress. I have my crochet blanket that I am doing as part of the Spring Stripes Make Along in our group. I'm just making stripes along with all the people who are striping along. And this is my progress from last week, so hopefully you can see where that little ice cream cone progress keeper is. And I've made decent progress for this week. You can see another bobble section there, and two section of bobbles up here. And if you were here last week when I talked about this bobble section, those bobbles do take a while. So I did have two bobble sections to work on this week. So it did take a little bit longer, but it's definitely growing. I am almost done with section 3 of this blanket. This is a crochet pattern by, I don't think I've ever said who it's by. It's by Sweetpea Family Crochet, and it's Sue, and she coordinated with Sirdar Yarn Company to host a crochet make-along of this blanket, so Sweet Blossom Blanket, this spring. And the pattern was divided into 5 parts. The first 4 parts being the body of the blanket, and then the 5th part will be the border of the blanket. Oh, and look, I've taken out a little bit of my work. I gotta get those bobbles back. So I am almost done with part 3, so then on to part 4 for this coming week, and still really enjoying this. Lots of fun colors and stripes and textures. So that is my Sweet Blossom blanket. The yarn I am using for that is Scheepjes Color Crafter yarn. It is a DK weight yarn. It is 100% acrylic. It is really nice. It has been really soft to work with. So I really am enjoying that crochet project. My last WIP, this is going pretty fast, guys. My last WIP is a new cast on for this week. And this is the Autumn League Pullover by 2 of Wands. This is a pattern on Ravelry. There is a knit along for the sweater going on with the Strings Attached podcast with Mallory and Frida. They are hosting this sweater knit along from June 1st, I believe, till the end of August. So plenty of time to knit a sweater. This yarn is a DK weight yarn, and the sweater pattern actually calls for this. It's Lion Brand, the LB Collection Cotton Jeans yarn, and I am using the Deep Indigo colorway. And I happened to have this in my stash from a few years back. It may have been like 2018, where I was going to crochet a sweater, and that just got kind of put on the back burner. So when Mallory and Frida announced they were going to do this sweater knit along, and I had the yarn in my stash, I thought that was perfect. So I have not gotten very far. I just cast this on yesterday. Construction is a little interesting. You start with back and forth rows to create the neck shaping. And then pretty soon I will be joining in the round. You will knit in the round for a little bit, and then you actually separate for the front and back of the sweater. So it's definitely not what I thought was like your typical top-down raglan sweater, but that's okay. It's a fun to try new techniques. I like how the yarn is knitting up. It's really soft, and I have some fun stitch markers. I was gonna say progress keepers, some stitch markers on there. So a blueberry stitch marker, and then that little, I think that was Aurora Borealis. So just some fun stitch markers to make the knitting all that much more fun. So I hope to get a lot more progress done on that this week. So that maybe went a little fast today, guys, but I haven't had a whole lot of knitting time. I'll tell you why in a little bit. Let me show some prizes for the Spring Stripes Make-Along. So again, it goes until June 20th, so there's plenty of time to make something with stripes. And prizes, I will be picking prizes from the finished object thread. So you do need to take a picture of your finished striped object and post that in the finished object thread under Carla Knits on Ravelry. So one of the prizes is this beautiful skein of yarn by Lumberjack Yarn. And it's the colorway is Lilacs in Bloom. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it's an 80-20 blend, so 80% extra fine merino wool, 20% nylon, and 437 yards. So that is one of the prizes. And then for striping, we have two skeins for a pair of socks or fingering weight yarn, Felici self-striping sock yarn, and the color is Chelsea. And then Felici worsted weight yarn, a self-striping, and this is the Punch Bug colorway. And I had hoped to show these much sooner on the podcast as prizes for the make-along, and I ordered these back in April. They were sent out from Knit Picks on April 27th, and they got lost in the mail. So they showed up just, I think it was last Thursday, so it was the very end of May. So it took a whole month to make its way here to Nebraska. Maybe it just got lost trying to find Nebraska. I don't know. But the Knit Picks company was really nice about it. I called, and was concerned because it was lost, and the customer representative that I talked to said she didn't really think it would show up if it had been that long. So she refunded my money, and she said if it shows up, then that's just fine. That's wonderful. Just enjoy the yarn if it shows up. So thank you to the Knit Picks company for being so gracious and nice about handling that. But I'm glad it finally showed up so I could show you the prizes for the Spring Stripe Make-Along. So this will be a prize, these two, and this. So 3 different prizes. So your chances to win a prize are good. There aren't that many entries yet in that Stripe Make-Along. So if you want to whip up a hat or mittens or something stripey, there's still plenty of time to join in. So I'd love to have you join us. All right, things that showed up in my mailbox this week. I only have one thing, which is probably good. This is the Knitterly Things Sock Club. So if you are a part of that self-striping yarn club and don't want to see it or haven't received it, go ahead and look away. May 2021 colorway, and it's called Cheerful. And that will make a beautiful pair of striped socks. And it does have that stellina in there, so a little bit of sparkle. So very, very pretty. I'm excited about that. All right, just a little bit of chatter. So I haven't had a whole lot of knitting and crochet time this week, although I have found time here and there, for a very good reason. We had my mom and dad visiting us from Michigan. They were here for a week. They left yesterday. We just had a wonderful visit. Hi, Mom, I know you'll be watching. I wanted to share something that my mom brought along with her. This is a pair of Norwegian mittens that her cousin Heidi made. This would have been probably back in the 70s sometime. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Mom, but this probably was in the 70s. And so she's had these mittens. So she passed those along and gifted those to me. So her cousin Heidi in Norway, I think that is so special that this comes from family that we are related to. It's a very sturdy wool. It would be very warm. It would be probably for a child's size, because I cannot fit my hand in there, but I am just going to keep these as a very special, I will say, family heirloom. So isn't that fun? I think they have held up very well for all those years. Just beautiful. So we had a great time with my parents. We did antiquing. We played so many games of Ticket to Ride. So I know I had said in one of my early episodes, I love that game. So I do. I love playing Ticket to Ride. So it was really fun to play it with my mom and dad and with Jeff. Lots of different Ticket to Ride games, all the different versions. I think we have 10 different versions. So it was fun to try several different ones. We did some antiquing. We did get to take a boat ride, and then we had all our kids come home for one night. So that was really special for our whole family to be together. And I just want to share something my son Ryan gave me. This was a belated Mother's Day gift, and it was so sweet. Look at this. It's a yarn skein mug, and it says, "Knitting keeps me from unraveling." And I feel that that is very true. Very, very true for me. And it's pink. I love it. So thank you, Ryan. That was so sweet. All right, with that, I think I will stop for today. I hope that you have all been well. And if you liked this video, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and would like to subscribe, that would be great. We are getting so close to 400 subscribers. We're in the 380s, so once I hit 400 subscribers, I will host a giveaway for a skein of yarn. So I would love to be able to do that soon. Please feel free to leave any comments below. I enjoy reading those so much, and I do read them all, and I try to respond to them all too. So if you'd like to share what you're working on, knitting, crocheting, or any crafty thing that you have, I'd love to hear about that. So with that, I will say goodbye and take care and see you soon.